Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians cast. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Mike D.
The Gospel of Mike D is here.
What's up, Scott?
Greetings.
All right, no Doctor Who haters allowed in this cast. All right, so anyway.
I better leave.
No.
There goes me.
So, here's the thing. Me and Mike D were talking about this on and off air, about the lie of the land, because we're a little concerned. Yeah, today. We're very concerned about how this is going to come into play. I don't like being fooled over and over again about the regeneration this, regeneration that. We got fooled with Hellbent.
Yeah.
Where, oh my God, is the Doctor regenerating on Gallifrey? No. Okay. You know, oh my God, what's that regeneration energy? It's in the, Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar. So Moffat is constantly teased regeneration with Capaldi. Constantly. Okay? And this is probably, I would think, because they teased it with Davros, and now they teased it with the General, and now they teased it again the third time in The Lie of the Land. So 3 times tried to fool us. When we speculate and we talk about things, it comes out better than what actually happens, which is true. Mm-hmm. We hear it, we get let down a lot lately. So I don't, here's the thing, they're so powerful. They have the potential to be a top Doctor Who villain.
Mm-hmm.
And
they could.
And from what this review is, which again, this is Doctor Who TV UK review. This is not us hating. Okay, this is a major.
The episode, so we can't actually say it's good, it's bad, it's.
This is a major Doctor Who site that we're getting criticized by people in the comments that we're being negative against. We didn't see it. Okay, we're just reading what this review is. So, Mike D, are we going to get let down? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, first off, it's tough to explain common sense to people with mental difficulties and deficiencies. So, just stop trying, because you're just wasting time. These people are just their mind is in the gutter already. They have no concept of fucking intellect whatsoever. So don't worry about them. The thing go ahead.
They already got their mindset that we don't know what we're talking about.
We hate the show.
It's secondhand or needs to be totally ignored. So we could say Doctor Who TV till the show goes off the air. They still believe it's from us personally.
Yeah.
Right.
These are brainless myrmidons, so don't worry about them. But the thing is with the regeneration stuff, like Joe was talking about. Before I get into that, I want to get this out. How exactly have the monks restored the Doctor's sight? What actually happened there? Unless he is a simulation, or unless there's a simulation being run because he's blind, and they're giving him a simulated non-reality of what he's actually seeing or something. Because they didn't put him in a device. They didn't hook him up to something. They were just the Doctor needs his sight, so his sight's restored. And it's if they're that powerful, again, what's their objective? Because if they're that powerful, why don't they just take over the Daleks and use the Daleks as a force to conquer the universe, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Remember Rassilon had the glove?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's shh, and he undid the Master's whole plan, like that, with the power of the glove.
Yeah.
Maybe they have something similar, where they're just able to. But here's the thing: how could they pinpoint where he is and just boom? How could they affect him directly? I don't. If this is the case that they could, and I said this on the other cast, if they could restore his sight, right? Why didn't they take the sight away from the whole human race? So it's sort of that. Was it the terror of the Vovoids or whatever the hell it is? The plants with the the plants made the human race blind, and human race was blind, and the plants were taken over. Why wouldn't they do the reverse? Why couldn't they just make everybody blind? And then if they could control
or
his sight.
facade almost, to where they don't resemble.
It's connected to Bill, though. It's connected to Bill because this is why it may be a simulation, because she's connected to the whole thing. She agreed.
Yeah.
She gave consent. And
Well,
what exactly?
Love is a strong emotion.
That's why I told Joe that it something that could be a possibility is that Bill has been planted in the Doctor's world this series, because she is the one, after all, that made the decision to give consent.
Yeah.
That maybe that, you know, she was a pawn in play in this chess game going on. But it just seems rather odd, because she's the one that the information was kept from her, that the Doctor was blind. And she was kind of like the person kind of moving through this series, kind of as the backbone of it.
It's almost as if the Truth Monks are the Trickster Brigade. Like, well, that insect. You know that insect from Turn Left?
Wrong con, to where she's privy just to enough, so that way if the Doctor starts suspecting her, they have plausible deniability.
Well, no, what I think they're doing is, remember how Donna Noble created a whole universe based on her making a different decision? I think they're shaping the universe based on Bill. And I think that's what's happening. Universe is being altered. So it's going to be unaltered. It's going to be restored back to the way it was. And this fake universe is going to, like, just disappear.
Maybe that's what the lie of the land means.
Yeah. And again, Moffat is directly having his writers and himself copy off of Turn Left and The Last of the Time Lords together at the same time.
They live.
Yes, I've said that also in another cast. It's like they live, like with the shades, you've seen what, you know.
Which was a good sci-fi movie.
Now we had, it was great. One of the best of all time.
John
He had to kick ass and chew bubblegum and a lot of bubblegum. That was like one of the greatest lines with right over that pipe, and it was the longest fight scene, I guess, in history or something like that.
Him and Keith David.
Yeah. So we got some teasers too on this. And some of the teasers are very interesting because...
Well, there's a shot of the one of the monks that's without its robe on, that's kind of plugged into like one of the... It looks like a throne seat with the tendrils of like the time threads, the luminescent time threads kind of going underneath his palm. So it's almost like he's in a room above the room that we saw in this last episode, with where they're almost like they're manipulating time from like a chamber above. You know, kind of like you have an Emperor Dalek, like they have an Emperor monk who's like doing stuff, you know. And I mean, who knows? Like people have said, maybe they're getting their marching orders from like somebody else, like the Masters.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is it possible that the monks are connected with the Silence? Because if the Silence are the priests...
Possibly.
And the monks are like decrepit, weird-looking things. Could this all be connected to that freaking thing by Manikovarian, the church, the intergalactic, whatever the hell it is?
I think that's just Moffat stealing from himself. I don't think they're actually going to connect.
I agree with you.
Because one of the teasers is, you should kill us all on sight. That line was from the Silence. When the Silence told Canton Delaware III, you should kill us all on sight, and the Doctor repeated that, so that way they would be aware of the Silence. So that's a line in this episode. He's reusing that line. But again, he used what are you going to do with the sonic screwdriver? Build the cabinet? He did that like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he's done it at least 3.
Yeah. Here's the first teaser, the last Cox Cave paintings and a Da Vinci Vitruvian Man and Mona Lisa. I don't know what that's about.
Wait, read that again?
Yeah.
The I can't pronounce last Cox Cave paintings.
I know.
These are works of art that you're talking about.
Yeah. Vitruvian Man and Mona Lisa. Okay, so there's something about that. You should kill us all on sight. The third one says, obviously, I knew the monks would appear, but I wasn't expecting the Daleks, Cybermen, or Weeping Angels.
Well, that's a play on words too. Like, you should kill us all on sight. You know, he lost his sight and regained his sight.
But that thing about the Dalek, Cyber, and the Weeping Angels, is that supposed to mean literally that we're going to see them too? In this, like, is this going to be?
Show in the teaser, the very first teaser trailer that they had for the series, didn't they have the Doctor, Bill, and Nardole in that library-looking chamber? And they saw in the smoke there was kind of like a Dalek, and there was like a
Cyber, but yeah, there was like different things. Yeah. This episode may be Doctor Who's most globe-trotting adventure yet, with the teaser alone visiting the Empire State Building, which is very interesting because the time meddler with the meddling, the chase. I'm sorry, the chase they went to the Empire State Building. So the Empire State Building in New York City, the Eiffel Tower in Paris, the Bank of China Building in Hong Kong, Saint Basil's Cathedral,
yes,
Forbidden City, Mount Rushmore, South Dakota, the Sydney Opera House, Sydney Niagara Falls. Wow, how many freaking things he's going to? Ontario and New York, the CN Tower, Toronto, Stonehenge. Wow, this is weird. He's going to all those different things in one episode. Bill gets to talk to her mom, and I don't mean a framed photograph. So her mom's alive now. Her mom's not dead. What do you think that means?
Well, I mean, if history was rewritten, it would have been after the fact anyway, so that's a little odd that her mom would be around, unless she's a simulation. Like Bill's living in some sort of simulation for some reason. See, I'm trying to figure out exactly, because there's definitely something at work going on there, because the Doctor couldn't have been cured of his blindness just with a wave of a hand or something. Yeah. I mean, and they weren't even in the vicinity of where he was at. He just, they were, but see, the thing, weren't they observing him through the cameras, though?
Yes. Yeah. Maybe they gave him temporary sight.
No, but I'm saying, how would they have done that unless he was a simulation?
I have no idea. I mean, they didn't even regenerate his eyesight. Just boom, he has sight all of a sudden.
Yeah. And the other thing, I mean, I was thinking also, why didn't he, do the sonic shades not have the ability for him to, FaceTime Bill?
Yeah, that's what
I guess that's not an upgrade yet. They don't have FaceTime. Well, the budget would be too extreme for Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's like, look, Bill, I don't have time to explain it. Just, I'm sorry, I'm blind right now. I need your eyes. Tell me. Right. I mean, he would have had time to do that. Guess the questions from the answers. Australia, Shook, obviously the hint, the pilot, and oxygen, respectively. So, I don't know. He's putting these things in there like they're supposed to mean something, but half these things, half the times, is stupid stuff. Well, he took. Oh, well, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. There's a connection.
Australia and the pilot, and Shook in oxygen. They were making fun of the Doors.
No, but they went to Australia already.
Yeah, and space already. It says number 7 says I used to have an imaginary friend until he left me for someone else.
That sounds like an Amy Pond line.
Yeah, same here.
Number 8, found it in the TARDIS. Yeah, it was in one of the drawers with some old takeaway menus and 50 Danish kroner. I don't know what the hell that is.
Found it.
Another sonic screwdriver, maybe? The shade.
I don't know. Number 9 is I can't wait to hear the fan theories on what Epsilon Fire and Jupiter Lily means. Okay. Number 10, it's like that time we discovered the huge fish creature in the scene in Paris.
What? Did I miss something with that? The huge fish creature in the scene in Paris. What episode was that?
Senne.
The Senne, maybe?
Senne? Yeah.
Let me look that up.
All right, so I mean, I don't know. You know what?
This is like these are Moffat riddles
This
too.
is not
So I
even
mean,
the finale. This is
they won't
like
even add up to anything. It's
they're
like
not. They're not going to be. It's not going to be.
Well, settings in Brazil, they're saying here.
It's not going to be anything. This is like a waste. You know, we didn't even do the things for oxygen because it was just. I don't know, man.
so. Is his regeneration going to be like a simulation? Him getting shot because he did
They
say
said
that
it was a money shot, like a just for a trailer purposes, nothing in ingrained like importance whatsoever, probably.
Well, yeah,
So,
and that would make sense if it was a simulation that they were showing him doing that, because obviously when you're watching it, people are going to be like, "Oh my God, he's regenerating for real!" And he did when he was on the Graham Norton show. They asked him, like, he did say that he had already shot his regeneration scene, but he didn't say that. They didn't mean his actual real death scene. That could have been just a simulated
regeneration scene, which is fake, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
that's lawyer speak. I shot a regeneration scene, not the regeneration scene.
Right.
Okay, the little cave thing that's Lost Cove, and that's where all the little charcoal paintings, finger paintings are. It's Lost Cove or Cove. That's what that. I think
Could that be the ancient ancestors that have painted like effigies of the monks on the walls of caves and stuff, or something?
possibly because they've got because I'm looking it up on Wikipedia here, and they've got those pictures of like what looks like bowls and that in one of the thumbnails. Because I was thinking when I was hearing that, why am I picturing the cartoon of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
They're going to all these tall buildings too. What's that all about? Like, what's the thing about all of the? I don't know. I mean, in the trailer, it seems like they showed all these statues of the monks,
right?
That were like put up. You know, like the ones you used to see of like these dictators. You know, they have like Saddam Hussein and all of they're making statues in honor of themselves and stuff. It seemed like they had those of the monks in that trailer, did they not?
Yeah.
Kind of like in this dystopic future where they were kind of all under this dictatorial sort of regime.
I don't know. It's just, and they had that weird thing that looked like a cross between a swastika and a pyramid, and they're trying to make like a thing out of it.
Because I said if you turn one of those emblems around, you have the SS.
Right.
Oh, is that the truth sign? The truth sign? Well, the truth monks, and it's this truth. I mean, is there truth? Is the truth they're referring to like as opposed to a simulation truth, or is it truth like that they need honesty and truth for them to accept? You know, like it's very vague. Why are they the truth monks? You see what I'm saying? Like, what constitutes truth? What is that? Meaning, like, they're the conduit to the real world, not the simulation. That truth, or truth like they did with Bill. You know, we need consent, we need truth, we need honesty.
Yeah.
Not strategy, not fakery.
Yeah.
And why is it so important for them to get that through consent? Because I mean, it seems like they're so all powerful. Why do they need? I don't
know. That's what gets me. You know what it is? We're wasting so many casts on this, and it probably is going to be crap anyway. That's the thing.
Remember in Dalek Invasion of Earth, they had that that little test for everybody to see if they could get a key outside of this plexiglass thing. Anybody who solved it, they found him too intelligent, so they killed him. What if, like I said, what if the truth monks have something similar to that? They find out if you're willing to consent to this, we can so easily manipulate you. But yet, if you don't, you can see through our.
It seems like there's something like they are being manipulated, or not manipulated, but they are the tools being used by another party that we have yet to see. Because otherwise, they don't seem like they have a leader. They don't seem like they're really operating.
Well, if Missy's unconsciously, if Missy's the red herring in all this, it's her way of getting out of the vault.
It could, well, but
you
she's
could be behind
half the times, isn't she?
I know,
How
but
does
still,
that work? She can't be alive. She can't
months.
be conscious for 1,000 years or 100 years without eating or whatever. I mean, isn't that weird? Unless she falls asleep and then when he calls her, she wakes, and that's why her hair is all messed up. She's like just.
Well, could Missy actually not? Could Missy actually not be real and be a simulation?
Yeah.
No.
But I'm starting to wonder if Missy is not the one
Missy's
manipulating the truth monks.
I don't know. And why does it look like the Sherlock thing that she's in? From when he had his sister in there, you know, it's like it's all too. Maybe they reused it for the set or something.
So I mean, we've got Missy, we've got the truth monks, but we have no purpose for them to be doing what they're doing. What they're doing is like you would see that on the front end of a larger game being played. Like what they're doing. What they're doing is like a gateway to some other part of their agenda going on or somebody else's agenda because they're so all powerful. This isn't coming down like they're not. They haven't even explained as a plot device that they're getting some sort of, like for example, if they thrive some sort of pleasure, derive pleasure out of people willingly being slaves for them, because these monks actually don't show that they're deriving pleasure. They're not. So what are they getting from this sort of people
other than worship?
Yeah, but they're not even deriving pleasure from that because even you would see them. They would be more. There would be more arrogance. There would be more like, oh, we've got you now. Like I told you, they'd be gloating more. There would be more of that going on. But it's all for naught. It's just like there's something else beyond this point.
We want it to be something else. That's the point. And it's not going to be, probably.
If it's not Missy, then I'm going to go back to my original notion of what if it's the ones who were sentencing Missy. They were hacked off. They were.
No, but those guys were scared at the end. They ran off and they were like, "Oh, we don't want the doctor to kill us." I mean, they're a bunch of wannabes. They weren't anything.
That would recycle around to Missy.
They were scrubs. They weren't anything.
So why was Missy introduced as a? I mean, it's like all of these. Seemingly, you would expect with any other writer that knows what the fuck they're doing that all of these elements are heading somewhere that they're going to converge.
They probably didn't think it through, just like the guy that made the moon the egg didn't think it through. And they're like, yeah, man, these ugly creatures, put a robe on them, they're monks, and take over. Nah, don't explain it. It's all right because we need to have paint by number, like somebody else said.
We need to have a big bad. We need to have a big bad that's like some sort of cult or something, and it's like, well, I'm going to rip off the Silence.
Because each season they always have some sort of cult, or every other.
So he's copying off of himself in a twisted way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's just. I mean, this season seems like it's been really. It's been rushed. Like Gomez leaving, Capaldi leaving unexpectedly. It seems like they're just making this shit up as they go, and they're like,
Jada's leaving, everybody's leaving. It's just like.
Let me find something to fill in this plot gap somehow, and we'll just steal from this, little bit of this, little bit of that.
Even I thought that.
Waiting seasons to do so nobody will remember this.
I mean, I like Thin Ice, I liked Oxygen, and Extremis, but even I thought that Extremis was going to be the most phenomenalist thing, and it wasn't. Well, I mean, I liked it, but.
What about the hybrid story? Remember we were expecting that was going to be some big payoff.
It fell flat.
Yeah, what happened with that?
Nothing.
They have set the precedent, though, that...
a play on words, that's all it was.
Yeah. They have set the precedent, though, that if Bill is being utilized as, like, some sort of tool by some other, whether it's the master or the monks, whatever, they have used, the companions, like Clara, for a large degree. Missy chose Clara, right?
Yeah. And
you've had, like, Amy wasn't, like, the real Amy for a while, right? She was like...
Yeah, the ganger, yeah, that was enough. He never explained that either, how they projected outside the universe.
That's true, yeah.
Like, really.
I just watched that again, like, 2 weekends ago. They
never explained it.
Unless they did it in one of the novelizations of these characters, because that's what I've been noticing. There's novelizations of these... of this era, they're always traveling outside the planet, outside of Earth. So they may have explained it somewhere in one of the thousands of novels.
Well, the cool thing would have been if they would have done something as interesting as involving not Madame Kavarian, but I'm trying to think.
I love Madame Kavarian. I thought it was a missed opportunity. He promised to bring her back. He never did.
No, I mean the one with the silence. The one that was at the Church of the Silence, all that. Like, if they tied little things in.
Tasha Lynn?
Yeah, where if you tied, like, certain things in, where even if they alluded to something, because even alluding to it, you'd be like, oh, wow, that's cool, because you know that they could do a novel later or a Big Finish audio to fill in what happened off camera and make the mythology even larger. This is them actually doing the opposite, where they're actually minimizing their own mythology.
Yeah.
You know, they're missing opportunities here. They're missing, even if they threw something in, like, where, I mean, like I said, I'm repeating myself, but I mean, they would be able to flesh out the truth monks even more, like in a Big Finish or a book or something. But I got a feeling it's going to get shit down the toilet. They're just,
you know, they missed a lot of opportunities this season. They should have done this. They should have done, like, right after the pilot, right? They should have done a story with Bill. No Nardo at all.
Yes.
Just, you know what? She goes to visit her mother, you know, and then they fight a villain in the past, and then she leaves. Not copying off anything. Don't copy her Father's Day. Don't do any of that stuff. Just, you know, her visiting her mother, and then showing what it was like to be raised by this other woman who's a foster mother, which I'm sure raised her good, you know, because she, you know, and just go more characterization of Bill in general. Not when Narda was a distraction taken away from her.
That's how you was.
Developments.
You just reminded me, too, they fired Pearl Mackie. So
yeah.
All of this
even started.
I mean, think of this. Like, any one of these people, it would have been a major thing. You know,
Right.
Michelle Gomez quits. Capaldi, we know he didn't quit. He got pushed out.
Yeah.
Pearl Mackie gets fired, pushed out, whatever. I mean,
she gets fired before her first episode airs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of this shit
like,
is just,
wow.
All of this shit is rushed. There are just
how rude is that by the BBC to do that? How effed up?
They're trying to just spit this season out as quick as they can, get away with as much as they can under the radar without criticism, so they can beat ahead.
They've been bashing Capaldi the whole damn season. Like, he's too old. He's senile. He's supposed to be talking about crop rotation. He's talking about this. Where's his mind at? She called him a grandfather or whatever she called. I mean, they was really ripping him apart every which way. And he's playing along with it, too, which is like, oh, the blind thing, too. He's old. He's blind. I mean, this is getting, like, ridiculous. I mean, you know, kill the guy already. It's like they're torturing the character.
Maybe they're going to reveal that the doctor's got Alzheimer's, and although this is just like a delusion of dementia, he's
talking about regenerating. My time is coming to an end. Really? Didn't Matt Smith do the same thing?
He's going to pull one of those life call devices out before he regenerates in the TARDIS.
Moffat forgets the trailer. Moffat forgets the trailer of season. Was it series? I'm trying to think what it was. Was it series 6 or 7? He's like, my time is running out. Series 6 with the God complex and all that.
Yeah.
He's like, my time is running out. Dun dun dun. And they show Let's Go Hitler and all these different things. You know that he's dying. I mean, every doctor is dying. Every doctor's like, oh my God, I don't want to die. Like all these different things. David Tennant, I don't want to go. Fort Knox, Matt Smith. Oh my God, the impossible astronaut. How's he going to survive that? Oh no, now he's going to Trenzalore. I mean, they always have to have a thing.
I saw an interview today too where they asked him. It was like about a 3-minute clip. I think it was done within the last month or so, but they were asking Moffat about, like, does he have an idea, or did he plan, or how long ago he had planned Capaldi's possible departure from the series, and he said that he had a very decisive idea in mind with Matt Smith from the get-go, where he would be Matt Smith's doctor, having to be basically catching up with, like, himself later on, like, in life, and fighting these enemies and stuff. But he said he had no idea with what they were going to be doing with Peter, as far as his regeneration. With what he does.
The beginning of the episode, he's talking about regeneration. So obviously they knew he was leaving. All the stuff about he's got to make a choice. There was no choice. They forced them out.
Yeah.
And they put that in the scripts.
There's no this series has been
a mess.
Well, and I'm saying the reason it's been a mess is you can clearly see that we know that there's shit going on behind the scenes. There's politicking going on. They're trying to do what they can do and work with what they have, knowing what we didn't know at the time that they knew at the time about this mess going on behind the scenes with people being forced out. And even people not like Capaldi not knowing he's going to be forced out, and then they're writing these scripts and they're doing I guarantee they're doing last minute rewrites to try and fit all this shit in and make it's like a messy crossword puzzle that they're all trying to make fit pieces together before the last episode because they don't want to make it look like a wreck. But I mean, this series has been a wreck. It's one thing if they knew from the get go that all of this, everyone's going to be gone, everyone's going to leave, you know. But it seems like they're just kind of like making shit up, like just as they go along, to like just try and make it make sense and make it plausible.
If I could just say anything without anybody interrupting for a second.
Yeah.
This season was like my first attempt at lasagna. You know, the idea was good at the time. Maybe I should have figured out and looked or watched some videos or something before I started that sucker, because that thing.
You can't mention the lasagna and not expect that we're going to start laughing.
Right, but this is my lasagna. This season is my lasagna. I mean, it's kind of thin. It's all over the place. I don't know what it is.
It's not making people vomit. Like
I just heard.
Listen, nobody vomited on that lasagna.
Lasagna must.
Lasagna must. Yeah. So I mean, here's the thing. I don't know, dude. I think we're wasting too much time on this episode.
I can't wait to get my action figure of Erica, the midget from like this episode, and the puddle monster. I mean,
I gotta tell you, I just ordered some action figures.
From what?
It's gonna be a surprise what I ordered.
Probably classic series.
Yes.
But
I'll show it. I'm so glad I have these books that sell that I can buy these things. But anyway,
I don't think we're spending too much time on this because I still have as many questions as I had before about like live land. What I mean,
it's gonna listen. The way it has to end. I told you how it's gonna end. You want to look at the ice warriors? You want to go to Mars? There's not going to be no trauma. There's not going to be, oh my God, I'm miserable. My whole life, 6 months, it was like hell. It's wiped. All gone.
It's going to be like that 6 months is actually going to be just 6 minutes.
Right. Didn't they say wave a magic wand and the episode is just, it's all right.
So most of the season is like been just an exercise in nothing happening.
They could have set this up as a 3-parter, but instead of going the usual route, do it as an arcing story. Each of these 3 episodes, they could have done Extremis, waited 2 or 3 episodes, done Pyramids, wait a few episodes, and then done Lie.
So in each episode, there's subliminal messages. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. This is your greatest episode ever. You love it. And people that are like, weak-minded, intellectually deficient, and be like, 10 out of 10, it's great! Put the glasses on like they live, and you'll see. No,
but maybe that's the whole point of the truth mugs and stuff, is they're actually taking the piss out of the 10 out of 10 people. Like, they're making everyone rose-tinted glasses, and they're all living in a simulation where every fucking episode's like the best.
Now, if this was me and I did every one of these episodes, right, and I'm the writer and I have Paul, I'm a showrunner or whatever, and people say this stuff sucks and this season sucks, you know what I would do? I would say, and I would go to the BBC and I'd be like, you know what? I got to give them a whole new season, a whole surprise season, because you know what? I want to show these people that I care about what their opinions are, and they're fans, and they've been with the show from the beginning. So let's not even say anything. Let's keep Capaldi us to a whole new season and throw that crap in there, man. And next season will be better than ever.
It's going to be a fake season anyway. Why not?
He doesn't take any criticism. He just does what he wants. And he does it worse, Moffat. He just does worse. This is your final year as showrunner, right? Wouldn't it make sense to pull out all the stops and just throw even the kitchen sink in there? Weeping Angels, Daleks, everybody.
But just himself
so jam-packed that, listen, if the
2-3 shows that he doesn't even know if he's doing, half the time doesn't know what he's doing, Doctor Who, Sherlock, or whatever. The fact
But wouldn't you have like a checklist that you would be remembering what everybody said about you, and you'd be pissed, and you're like, they say I have 530 plot holes. Well, you know what? This season I'm going to solve them all.
I'll tell you what they should have done this series, and this is like the absolute fucking bullseye of what they should have done. They should have done this series, and Moffat would have rode off into the sunset with people appreciating his work, and he would have written a good story. This whole season would have been great as a sort of key to time, using the Truth Monks, and you could have even involved like a previous
Black Guardian, the White
you could have involved a previous Doctor in one of the episodes. It could have been something where, just like in Key to Time, you had like an object in every episode that had to be discovered or whatever. You could have had something like that brought the story arc along. They could have done like the first episode or two as like, well, this, that's when they find out things are simulation. Then you could have a couple episodes where it's in this dystopic future, and it could have worked itself all the way to the end where the Doctor actually regenerates, and you could have had like another like an older companion involved. Or you could have had a future companion that doesn't exist now because the timeline's been rewritten, but they still count as a companion, which would have been cool because, the companion still would have been there in the timeline that we're experiencing watching, but they disappear. And that's, that solves your problem with getting rid of a companion at the end of the season. To start off with Chibnall with somebody new is you could have this whole great companion that literally existed, but as far as the story is concerned, gets wiped when time resets itself, and all of this would have been great. I mean, I could have done an outline for a season in like, give me 20 minutes, and it would have been the best fucking thing you would have ever seen.
Oh yeah, but we didn't get that. In fact, here's the thing that really bothers me, though, right? It looks like 50-50 chance we're gonna have the Potter Noster Gang series.
Yeah.
All right. Odds are, if he's going to answer anything, it's going to be in his spin-off show of Doctor Who, mind you. They're going to have guest stars in there. They're going to have whatever, and they're going. I'm telling you, which is the most weirdest thing in history.
The Truth Monks, they're a great creation and a great idea, but like with this idea I'm going with, you could have had it build up to the Master being behind everything.
This could have been an E-space. This whole simulation, this could have not even been the real universe. You could have been an E-space or something.
And you have the Doctor working with Missy, and then you could even have John Sim come back towards the end, and then that all of this leads into like the Doctor regenerating, and then time resets itself.
You could have the Black Guardian tricking the TARDIS, thinking that they're landing on Earth and they're in E-space. Just using his influence. And that everything, all the laws of, here's the thing, in E-space, they can do something where all the laws are not the laws, it's different laws. So everything is like weird, the TARDIS wouldn't even know. Because these entities that are so high up that they have power, that they should be able to trick the TARDIS.
The E-space trilogy, we had State of Decay with the vampires, right? They could have
right, and that's where we found out that there was a war.
They could have the Truth Monks because there was a war with the Time Lords and the vampires.
The vampires, right. That's when we found that out. That was like a secret war or something.
Yeah, they could have even introduced the monks as being kind of like this, part of the sect of this vampiric.
They could always did a sequel to that, and they said, "Oh, forget about the Daleks."
No, but that would have been too cool, Joe. They couldn't fucking do that,
Right. Yeah.
Like right away. I feel like Moffat's got like these people that work in his writer room. And there's like, hey, this is a brilliant idea. Let's do this. And people are like, you know what? That's just, it's not vanilla enough. We need to get rid of that idea. We need to introduce some shit that doesn't pay off, and just string people along for like 2 out of 3 episodes.
Why do they have less a budget than they did with Matt Smith? Why is the budget so less? I mean, you would think if it's making money, I mean, even if the ratings drop, you mean to tell me they just drop the budget totally like that? Because it's like this, like the BBC, like, yeah, we can have the Daleks, but only 2, and they can only shoot twice because we can't afford that special effect. I mean, this is terrible. What's going on?
I really felt like the series. It seems like the new series, that is. I'm not saying creatively. I'm saying for some reason I felt like some of the gas had been taken out of it.
Yeah.
When Amy and Rory left.
Yeah.
As far as the fan base, like it seems like like when Claire came along, it started to get a little convoluted. People started kind of dropping off a little bit. Then Capaldi, with the fangirls not liking him being an older doctor and stuff, it started kind of going to decline. Like I see that people loved it when it was David Tennant, it was Matt Smith, it was Rory and Amy were there.
Oh, they were great. It was great when Amy and Rory were there. In fact, I mean, like I tell you, like one of the greatest moments was going to see the filming of Angels Take Manhattan. I loved that. That was fantastic, and it was different times. The trailers were energetic. Mm-hmm. They were pumping. The music was different. It was like dun 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 dun, dun and like the Pandorica, the music. Dun, 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 dun. It was like everything was like whoa, And then you get like now it's just like
here it is.
The trailers we get now, it has no life in them compared to when it was when Matt Smith and Amy and Rory, the Doctor.
Did that because you got an old doctor. So
and even the trailer, like the fall of the 11th,
all old and blood.
They kept saying the fall of the 11th, the fall of the 11th, right? Where we even thought an episode was going to be called the fall of the 11th, right? Now you're doing the same crap at Capaldi, but you're saying the Doctor falls. That is the worst title you could have, being that you did that storyline already. He fell already. How many times is he going to fall?
Well, the thing is, too, like, that sounds silly because the connotation is, like I said earlier, like the I've fallen and can't get up thing. The Doctor falls. Like, well, get the fuck up then. You fell over.
But my thing is they don't repeat what you did already. The River said you fall so much farther and all that stuff and whatever.
Well, that makes him seem like he's an elderly man too. They're making fun of his age and all this shit. It's like the Doctor falls. It's like, oh, Granddad fell over.
Can we ever have a doctor where he's not worried? Can we ever have a doctor where the focus is not, oh my God, I got to prevent my death, and oh my God, this is going to happen in Trenzalore and 4 times, and I mean, could we just not have that anymore? Because if you're repeating the same storyline in every Doctor, it's getting lame.
I'm telling you, I watched Deep Breath again a few days back, and it's like a pilot to like a different dimensions series of Capaldi's era. Like it's like so different now. I didn't even realize. I mean, I kind of had the idea that it was because I remember it tonally being different, but I went back and watched it, and I was like, holy shit! This I wish we had this Doctor this whole time. The one from Deep Breath.
Yeah,
and
you know what?
They did like a 3-minute tribute to Capaldi's Doctor and him leaving too, and it's like that was more exciting than most of the episodes.
See, you enjoyed it a lot more than I did because my beef with that episode was that the girl in the fireplace, the SS Madame de Pompadour ship. Why are you repeating the same thing? With
no, I'm talking about. I'm speaking of nothing other than Capaldi.
I know that, but I'm saying, for me, that's the problem I had with the episode.
But I'm saying that besides that, just him playing that part.
Yeah, he was great in that. He was great. But
because I mean, even like Tom Baker, like in like his last season, the season before last, he just seemed like he really just was bored and phoning it in. I mean, go back and watch like Ark in Space and Robot compared to the like.
Oh, I know.
Some of those later ones. And
that stuff was exciting in the beginning. I mean, we had the thing where like he's fighting the creature on that space station. It leads right into the Centauran thing where they filmed all outside. They didn't even have the TARDIS. They had to get transmatted down there, or whatever.
And then they had the time ring for.
He explained that Nostradamus' wife knitted him the scarf, and he burned the scarf. Remember that? The scarf got burned in that. So I got to tell you, like, this stuff was really good. And then when we got Leisure Hive and shit, I'm like, oh, that was like, God, I hate that episode.
You and Leisure Hive, dude.
I hate that episode. I hatred, pure hatred. I mean, I get a dartboard of it and I throw darts at it. There's certain things that just kill me and I can't stand them. So.
Well, think about cool, like, going back several minutes back on what I was talking about what they could have done is making this kind of like a Key to Time season. They could have done it like they did with the space station, or like Ark in Space and Cyberman episode and all that stuff, the Sontaran episode. They could have used that, Space Station Nerva, right? Wasn't that what it was called or something?
Nerva.
They could have used that as kind of a loose arc for like this whole series, but with the Truth Monks. And I mean, think about it. If they're doing simulations,
Yeah.
Or if they're screwing with time, what better excuse do you have to bring back an older Doctor? And it would make sense why they look older, because it's a simulation. It's what they would have, looked like being older.
But they could have had simulations of the Doctors being evil or something. Remember how Sylvester McCoy said, how cool would it be if we all came back as different twisted versions of the Doctor, like evil from an alternate reality or something, or whatever? That would have been cool.
Well, look at Troughton's Enemy of the World. I know
Salamander.
Salamander was a alternate version of
that was great.
the Doctor, and he got sucked out of the TARDIS when the TARDIS realized this was not him. So.
Well, and did they ever explain, by the way, again, why the TARDIS did not convert some of the people in Extremis, like their language? They were not. It wasn't translating like the Pope and shit.
Well, that was a simulation because it wasn't real. The TARDIS didn't translate the Pope because that whole thing was a simulation. It wasn't really the TARDIS. We figured that already. Right away when it didn't translate, I'm like, oh, something's up with that.
So but I mean, then that okay. Let's go with that then. The same reason why it was unable to work, because they didn't know how to produce something they were unaware of in their simulation.
They didn't know the TARDIS translates.
How would they be able to know to give the Doctor his sight back?
I don't know.
Simulation, right?
How do they know Time Lord physiology?
It's like they're breaking their own rules they're setting forth. It's like, well,
how does a simulation remember Missy and have all the memories of the Doctor? Did they just beam that in there and copy it? And if they did copy it, wouldn't they look at those memories and say, "Oh, who's Missy? We got to take her out because she'll fall off plans because she'll want to take over the Earth."
This seems so stupid, because it's like, why?
We're gonna laugh on Saturday night. We're gonna laugh and say, "Oh, this is the way it ended," and then that's it.
So they've been monitoring the human race since the beginning of time.
That's stupid.
This seems like the most. This like alien species. They must be the most OCD.
Stupidest.
No, they're like OCD or something, because how the fuck long does it take to take over? I mean, we've seen invasions happen with the Daleks and the Cybermen.
Well, the Doctor made fun of them. He's like, every freaking week the Earth's going to end. So how are you saying that this is the event that actually does it? Like, who the hell are you that you're that powerful?
Yeah, they must be.
How many times did I see?
Yeah, they're like the Doctor or whoever, Bill. One of these characters, they didn't put all of the products in their medicine cabinet label forward. They're so OCD, so they got to go back and redo the simulation again. It's like, how tweaked do you have to get everything?
Well, look at that. That race, that kid that did that thing to Missy, they were going to kill her? When the thing was going off beeping, how many people died connected with the Doctor? They shit a brick. They took off. They're like, screw this. This guy's going to kill us just by looking at us. They were scared. They were genuinely scared, right? So, like, why wouldn't the monks do that if they were doing all these simulations? Wouldn't they be petrified of the Doctor? Wouldn't they be scared? I think they'd be shitting. They wouldn't be growling at him and shit. He's the beast. If he was the Doctor, that's the beast.
So let's go with that. We know that the Doctor operates outside of a time that we are watching in real time as a viewer. Would this not be like the opportune time to get like other Doctors involved in trying to stop this great threat to Earth?
He never heard of them. What the weird thing is? He's never heard of them. So they obviously suck because he's never heard of them. I mean, they've never conquered anybody else in history, because if they did, he would probably know about it, right?
I mean, we had the second Doctor come back to help the sixth Doctor beat like a potato head Sontaran in a flesh-eating cannibal. I mean, come on, they weren't exactly, that much of a dire threat like the monks seem to be.
Yeah.
So how come the Time Lords incapable?
Time Lords are hiding at the end of time in the universe.
You have the yeah, but I mean, you have the Time Lords. Yeah, but these creatures have been around since the beginning of time, though, on Earth, right?
Well, was Rassilon behind the Truth Monks? Because didn't the whole High Council get ejected off of Gallifrey?
Well, it's funny because it's like you have the Time Lords whose sole job is to like study planet's history and basically.
Right, so maybe the Time Lords left in their TARDISes and they're screwing around with the Doctor now with their TARDISes with the Truth Monks. But again, that's too cool of an idea for them to use.
There was an exhibit that I'm just going with the fact that somebody didn't screw up something and they did this on purpose. There was a display at the Doctor Who Experience or something back like around the time or before the series started where it was like these are going to be things that have to do with this upcoming series, meaning the one we're seeing now.
Right.
And one was a Time Lord outfit. So, we haven't seen the Time Lords in this series. I mean, we still have episodes left, so I mean, could they be like
behind the Truth Monks?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And their revenge for being kicked
out. And they're the only ones that could heal with sight because they're the same race. The Time Lords.
Or a Time Lord could have bestowed them with the ability to monitor time via that machine, which still could be a Master's TARDIS or Time Lord technology, it seems, right?
Yeah.
Because the simulation. This is
the Master's behind it, which
the simulation can be part of the Matrix. Then
that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Because the Matrix is a simulation of things.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we saw that in Deadly Assassin, which got them into trouble by a certain little woman because of how they broke away a cliffhanger.
So the monks could be, and I'm not trying to go on a weird conspiracy, gossip rant here about things, but I'm saying I'm trying to make sense of it.
If Johnson was behind the Truth Monks, it would work out.
Because he would be an empowered Time Lord, which he is, and he would feasibly they could write something in where he somehow was able to use what their wasn't the Doctor was trapped in the I forget the name of the device, right? They had him in for the
confession dial.
Yeah, it could be like something like that, where like a portable unit that's being used that he bestowed upon the monks. The monks are using it. They're getting rewarded somehow to do whatever the fuck. And
it would be cool if the Master was behind it, but we're probably not going to get that luxury, unfortunately.
It could be tied into the Cult of Saxon.
Well, why? Here's the thing, right? Why they create these things in the storyline, like the Church of Saxon, for hundreds of years, there's the Books of Saxon. They had all the chemicals to bring him back to life. Remember that? Who the hell knew he had that crap going on Earth, right? And they all brought him back. They resurrected him basically, right? And then he killed them all, right? Well, is that still going on? The Church of Saxon, is that still around?
So these
truth must be does he have followers?
Of the Saxon cult.
Does he have followers?
Well, because if they had the TARDIS, like the Master's TARDIS, he could take the monks back at the beginning of Earth's time and have them do all of this shit.
Yeah.
Or and not even have to stay there, just visit certain times, going through, because they said they monitor. It would be
even better if the silence were connected with them. That would be great.
They said that they monitored Earth since its beginnings. It doesn't mean that they've been there the whole time. They could have just been dropping in and out. And I mean, if they had access to a TARDIS and the Master was taking them at these points in time, he could be doing that just back to back to back to back to back, and it could be taking in Earth time 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah. Basically.
They are, and they said they used that word monitor also, they monitored it. They weren't. They could have been just watching it, viewing it through some sort of time thing, which would involve Time Lords or Time Lord technology.
Yeah. Look what's coming on the way. I just want to show you. See that?
Clause of Access, right?
Yeah.
The Master.
That's coming.
And then they use that same Axon outfit in Seeds of Doom.
Yeah.
I'm excited. That's coming.
Crinoid.
What else? I want to show you what else. Let's see. I don't want to take away from what we're talking about. I don't want to distract, but
maybe they'll bring Craig back and he'll be the one that saves the world.
Oh God,
James Corden.
I would be so Oh, Craig, you mean? Oh, I thought you meant the superhero guy. Yeah, Craig, yeah. And this too is coming. Cool, right?
Nice.
I thought that you were going to order one of those
Yeah.
ones as a Cyberman.
You know what? I have no control. I gotta, it would be nice that you use that for something else, but I keep, every week, every week I get tons of stuff, so. I love it. I love the stuff. All right, so Doctor Who. All right. So anyway, hopefully a few things that you brought up or I brought up or Scott brought up will happen that will make the episode that much more worthwhile.
Yeah, so either, like we said, either Missy, the Master, or the Time Lords behind the Truth Monks.
Yeah.
Either to get Missy out of the vault or to get back at him for kicking them off of Gallifrey.
All right, is that it?
Because I mean, it seems like if it seems like if the Truth Monks were operating on their own.
I don't think so.
I'm saying if they were operating on their own, it seems as though the Time Lords would have been aware of this at some point in time, because they wouldn't have just screwed around with the Earth.
Well, they're not going to do something stupid out of like Star Trek and make it that they're children, right? And they just look like that, like they're little kids. And like whatever, and they just don't know any better.
Or they could be, they could be a part of the Sisterhood, the male versions of the Sisterhood of Khan.
Yeah.
Well, the thing you mentioned about Star Trek, I talked to you about on the phone about like that in that one picture that we see of the Truth Monk, where the Doctor's kind of standing over the Truth Monk's shoulder, and the Truth Monk looks like it's just kind of a propped up effigy of like one of the monks. I was saying that could be like Blaylock in the Corbinite maneuver in Star Trek, like the third episode where they're fighting against this alien, the iconic looking alien with the bald head and the long face. And then they finally confront Blaylock, who's the alien, on his ship, and it's Ron Howard's brother. It's like some little like 13-year-old kid. It's not really the aliens there just to like look like it.
Well, wasn't Trelane a kid too?
Well, he was like
they stayed like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to. Remember, like he was like a little kid.
He was supposed to be a child. Yeah, he was supposed to be a child.
He was a child too. He was a child too. That's what I was talking about.
He was like a precursor to Q.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was talking about.
I can't remember. I think a buddy of mine mentioned this. How I think it was in a novelization or a comic book. They revealed that he was actually a young Q.
Okay. But still, like, that's it. Like, he looked like he was older, but he was a child because, like, the Doctor was a kid, but he was 90 years old. They said, remember, like, he was exploring whatever. So, yeah. Well, we shall see on Saturday, won't we?
I think in one of the group chats, somebody brought up that there was a comic coming out or something that was saying that Hartnell wasn't actually the first Doctor. There was a Doctor.
Oh, that's garbage. That's bull crap. Don't do the Brain of Morbius thing again. That was not the Doctor. That was like probably him or something or whatever. Like he had other thing. I don't. You know what? You don't want. Here's the thing. You don't want to retcon the original thing. Like William Hartnell was the first Doctor. Don't make it like he's the 27th, because that would ruin the whole thing. That's not hip. That's not cool to do. I won't read that story. I don't like anything that alters the original history. Well, I didn't even like when they altered the Tron War like that. I was like, oh, and Sisterhood gave him the potion that created a different thing that he was meant to be, and then he eventually regenerated what he was meant to be, the Ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston. But I don't like. I mean, look, as much as I love John Hurt, I was not happy about that whole thing that they did that.
Well, how did they end up explaining why we saw those different other Doctors in Brain and Morbius?
They really did.
They never really explained it.
No, they never did. Even the novelization of that, which I've got, they never explained.
It was like the Doctor was purposefully showing things that were mistruths or something mentally.
Well, the doctor. Well, now the doctor lies, but I mean, maybe.
But Morbius said, "How far do you go? How long have you lived?" Basically.
But you know what it is? It could have been. You know what it could have been? It could have been a thing that you saw the doctor's future. Maybe because he is on his second cycle now, so who the hell knows what? Maybe he. In other words, Morbius is seeing future incarnations of the Doctor that the Doctor doesn't even know exists. That's just there, you know. So.
Because one of the ones shown was Trevor Martin, who was not only in War Games, but was in Seven Keys to Doomsday, a stage play that was from '75 or '77.
That was, I mean,
Plus
that was a great.
He redid, plus Martin for Big Finish redid it, but he didn't have Wendy Padbury this time to play one of the characters.
I remember he gassed him, and the guy just died. It was like the doctor didn't care. He's like, "Yeah, this poisonous gas is going to kill somebody, but that's all right. Like, we got to just stop them." You know, it's like, wow.
The thing I just thought of that I haven't heard anyone mention on any of these casts is we've got the pyramid at the end of the world, right? The whole pyramid sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
They could have written where Sutek was behind this and brought Sutek back with the pyramid and the Egypt thing.
They could have brought Sutek and the Jaggeroth because supposedly the Jaggeroth were the ones that part of the reason they knocked Sutek out of there. They could have had a whole connection there because one of the incarnations of the Jaggeroth was around when Sutek was around. So you could have did some really cool stuff, but they don't do. You know, I would love to do that.
Yeah,
why not?
We're getting our own.
He could have shown up with that device because remember he was in the thing transmat thing. They could have shown him come out of this freaking pyramid. Tell me you would have lost your shit if at the end of this episode you see Sutek emerging from the freaking pyramid with that same effect. You know, I would like, holy crap, how fucking great would that be? Right?
Yeah, that pyramid was somehow intercepted.
The doctor was scared of him. The doctor was scared shitless of him. Remember? How fucking great would that have been if he would have been the villain? And if they see Capaldi's like petrified, I would have been like, holy shit, that would have been awesome. It would have been fucking awesome.
And that could have been the reveal was that when Sutek emerged, we saw him, and then
I would have fucking went crazy.
The doctor still was blind, so he can't see that it's Sutek.
Right, you're like, what are you talking about? They mentioned his name and his face.
Yeah, he asked Nardal, what.
Who's Sutek? He'd be like, oh,
and he's like, wait a minute, what did you say, Nardal? And he's like,
he would really.
This is the name initially.
He would have to show worse than when he heard it was Missy was the master. I mean, petrified because he told Sarah how freaking scared he was of like, oh man. That would have been, and that was a great episode. And if they would have tied that into this, come on, man.
Yeah, and they could have just had the doctor freaked out when Nardal's like, he's like, what is it, Nardal? What is it? And he says something and it finally clicks to the doctor.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, like Sutek, never heard of him. And the doctor.
Right, the moment she gave her consent, then all of a sudden you see Sutek emerge.
Yeah, and then they just cut to him. They just cut to Sutek laughing. He could have given the doctor his sight back, and then the doctor turns around and the doctor was looking at his hands. He can see that he can see all of a sudden. Then he turns around and he sees Sutek, and the cliffhanger ending would have been Sutek.
Like, oh God!
Sutek
throwing his head back, laughing, doing the master laugh. You know that.
If he fucking appeared in the episode, that shit would have been a fucking 10 out of 10. That shit would have been a 10 out of 10. If that was the whole resolution and he came out of that and he's the cause of all this, everything would tie in perfectly with that. Because remember, Sarah wanted to leave and he brought her into the future and say, look, Sutek took over everything. We got to fix this.
But I'm from this time. But then
right, yeah. He said, we got to fix this. We got to fix this. That would have been the perfect sequel. That would have been perfect.
See, but we come up.
That would have been perfect.
We come up with way better shit than what they end up doing.
I'm so fucking pumped right now. Just thinking about that. How fucking excited I am.
Awesome, right?
That would have been fucking awesome.
It's sad that fans can do that. But
I'm so freaking psyched. My hair's coming undone. Look at this. Now.
Yeah, they drop a perfectly great callback to a great classic villain, and they drop their shit in what could be a great. I mean, we're sitting here in like 10 minutes time, giving the plot of like what could be one of the greatest classic episodes of a new
Right.
series.
And I bet your Moffat's watching this. He's like, I should have did that. Like, Jesus, come on, Chinlo, bring it back.
Bring it, Jim. Come on.
I mean, why couldn't they bring the Jackaroth back? He had how many personalities? How many times was he splintered? Like 13 times?
And it could have been, even then,
They could have a future incarnation. That Count Scaglione. They could have somebody after that. That would have been
they could have even hinted as though the Doctor, or somehow was hinted that he could have been behind it, but not really have been behind it.
God, the Jaggeroth, imagine them back. How great that would be. How great would that be? I mean, freaking awesome.
Yeah,
you can still do it. The guy's still around. You can get him. Get him.
And that pyramid could be the Jaggeroth ship. Shit. And they could have even had Romana come back for one of the. If they made this a whole season story arc, they could have had Romana back for like a couple episodes, just like in City of Death.
They took everything
it
from City of Death. They took the cracks in time. They took the time loop. They took the splintering of the time, like Clara. Moffat created like how many stories from City of Death, right? You know he did it. He took like 20 stories from City of Death. Literally. I mean, like, oh my God. Like, seriously. All right. See how excited I got these my favorite episodes, 10 out of 10s? Oh, man.
And we even tied it into Pyramid of Mars.
Yeah.
Shit.
No, but
that's what I should have ordered. I should have fucking ordered that box that time. Now I'm fucking kicking myself. Maybe it's.
Yeah, because what could be cool is the monks could have been like I
would have that. I would have that in my basement. I would have a fucking.
Could have been actually worshipping Sutek.
I would have like an 8-foot tall Sutek.
Yeah, but hold on. The monks could actually have been the unfurled mummies from Pyramids of Mars.
Yeah.
You know? But because they look like mummies, don't they? They look like corpses.
Yeah, but they reveal them to be robots, though.
Are they not allowed to use that though? Is that what it is? Are they not allowed to use Sutek? Are they not allowed to use the Jaggeroth? Are they not allowed? I mean, is this a thing? Like even the Ronnie? I mean, is there like legal?
I don't know to put it into like another context. To use another example. This is like if you had like an underwater threat that is like reptilian that came back that has been here like way before human beings. And you take that opportunity to make it like the Silurians or the Sea Devils.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure, exactly.
I mean, why not do that? You know?
I don't know. Why couldn't they bring the Sea Devils back? That's fucked up.
I'd love to see them.
That's so crazy, man.
I mean, it's like, let's see, we've got mummified corpses, check. We've got pyramids, check. We've got like, I mean, you wouldn't even have to try and put Sutek in it. The role was like written to have Sutek as the villain.
Exactly.
Oh shit.
This could have even been a ploy to bring him back.
Shit. So much cool shit, man.
Yeah, because especially like he took Sarah to the future.
Yeah, I love that episode, dude. Even that epic speech in it. I love that.
I forget if I got that in book form or video form.
I have it over there. I love that shit.
Yeah, because all the ones I don't have in book form, I got in video. And
you know how many times they copied that? Even in Star Trek Next Generation, they copied that from City of Death and shit. Come on, they took a lot of stuff from Doctor Who. Man, ridiculous. So.
Well, we found out like Nardole.
Oh fuck Nardole, really?
Damn.
Come on. What is this fucking person? Seriously?
Yeah,
that's
what is
like the biggest waste.
Just to be babysitting the Doctor.
Come on, man. You took the worst character in history and you made him a companion. It's just like, oh.
And then hint the fact that that's not his genuine face.
But you can't do anything genuine with him. Can't you, like, look, if you're going to have a character like that, can't you give him a whole episode at least so you can see some characterization and what is he thinking? What is he feeling? Is he a robot? Is his consciousness in this robot body? I mean, what does he like to do? What does he not like to do?
I forget who mentioned this, but I am wondering if he was just somebody the BBC said, okay.
It was. It was.
I know you really don't want him, so.
So is this Moffat? So is Moffat like a child, and he's writing the episodes like shit because he's forced to have a companion he don't want? You ever think of that, Mikey? that the BBC forced him to have this guy, and he's like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to do shitty episodes.
I don't know about that, but I don't. It's not out of arrogance. I mean, we're all fans.
Let's just picture where. Yeah.
We're all huge fans of the classic series, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, Moffat's supposed to be this huge fan also of the classic series, and I'm really stuck on this. Not because I brought this up, but I mean, the more I'm thinking about it, the more we're talking about it, it's actually making me mad that they actually have not used Sutek as being the main villain, because, I mean, just Capaldi, seeing him play off of that,
Yes.
Oh, that would
in his intensity of being the Doctor, and think of what they could have had a great reveal, cliffhanger, like harking back to the great cliffhanger endings of the classic series,
Yes.
where you had the Doctor locked in the room about to set the bomb off. He can't get out and whatever, and then like you hear this laugh, and they have the Sutek. Remember his laugh?
Yeah.
And that sort of.
But he doesn't realize it's him, and then
He's like, wait a minute, he's like, wait a minute, like he's like, I
and
know
his
that.
eyes, that's when he sees the guy's reflection. It's like, oh.
I used to love that stuff when they did that. I love the cliffhanger thing, and when they split into 4 parts or 6 parts.
Unless they're afraid that new Who fans wouldn't necessarily get.
Oh God, that'd be great if they did that again with the parts like that. But make it longer, though. They can make it longer.
It would be a great way to reintroduce the character, because even if people who didn't get, who were like new Who fans who haven't watched a lot of the classic series, they would still understand, okay, well, this is a reference to the classic series, or the Doctor has encountered this guy before. And Sutek is one of the top 10 classic Who villains,
yes,
excluding, the usual go-to guys.
Yes.
Like, Sutek is begging to have a reappearance in the series. And they wasted a perfectly fucking great story.
This is what I keep saying. This is what hacks me out. This is why I really wish they could have done every season. They could have taken like 2 hours, like they could have taken an old companion, an old enemy, or an old villain. Every season, they could have taken one of those two out of those 3, introduced them to it, Sutek being one of them, but taken that, and then by the 50th anniversary, the new fans would have understand, okay, this is from this here.
They could have fucking so much
cameos. Even in cameos, it would have been good.
They could have fucking said that the cracks made it a hole into the Inferno parallel universe, and is connected with the fucking eye patches and everything. Come on, man. They could have did crazy shit like that. In fact, originally, that was what the cracks was another universe. Like, the freaking Silence went through the universe, through the cracks, following the freaking Star Whale, and following the vampires from Venice, and shit like that, and weird shit. I mean, they just all missed opportunities.
They threw this away. They did it away.
Yeah.
They had somebody come in who just
so many good ideas, and they just
tossed
that shit.
Well, see, it seems like they missed an opportunity too, because if they're dealing with like a future timeline that we know is going to be erased, like by next episode probably, if they would have done this whole season as a story arc, i.e., like I said before, the key to time, they had the perfect setup, because they've had the Truth Monks as a fantastic villain, but then just like they did like in Frontier in Space and episodes like that, they could have, like they introduced the Master like halfway through. They could have introduced Sutek as being like the main big bad behind everything, and they could have utilized even bringing back other companions, because this is kind of like X-Men's Days of Future Past. They had an open template to be able to introduce, bring Turlo back or something, or some, some companion.
We still have to have one more in battle with the Black Guardian. It was supposed to be another face-off, like a big,
This could have been their great Black Guardian or Sutek.
They could have brought back East Base. They could have been like Romano is still there. Maybe she wasn't president of Gallifrey. She was in there giving them time lord technology. Maybe the race turned on her.
Yeah, and if they're making simulations of people, then they could have they already have a built-in story tool to introduce one of the Doctor's companions who's like older now. That would explain why they look their age, and they could bring back.
He wants to bring the Great Intelligence back, but he doesn't want to bring the Ronnie back. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Or the Valiard.
I mean, yeah, they mention the name, but they don't show him. Like, that's.
I mean, they could have brought. I mean, all these names we talk about, like Tegan or Joe Grant. I mean, they could have done a fan service by having the Doctor actually have to go, like, leave his like the timeline to go grab somebody, or they come across somebody.
I mean, he's on Earth so much, right? He can't bump into a past companion.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't see him on TV, and they work up the unit anyway. Or isn't Tegan supposed to be an ambassador or something?
Well, who was the guy? I don't remember. Wasn't there a guy like Professor in Pyramids of Mars? There was Professor. Was it Sorensen or something like that?
Yeah,
that was in that episode. Did he die?
I think so.
Yeah,
well, not the guy. The brother did, but not the other one.
With the device, yeah. I think I gotta watch it again. I haven't seen it in ages.
And then
another one who the Doctor and Sarah was working with, he didn't die, but the one who discovered the tomb of Sutekh, he died because guy goes, there could only be talked about, there could only be like one worshiper of him or something like that, and shoulders were touched and was burned to ashes.
I don't know what the reality of this would be as far as casting, but I mean, you could have even had Tom Baker come back for like an episode to play the fourth Doctor, since he fought Sutekh in that episode, and they could have had like Capaldi interact with him some way, even if it's off screen, like through the monitor in the TARDIS or something, and they could have had him consulting with the fourth Doctor's incarnation, since he actually went against Sutekh in Pyramids of Mars. That could have been an excuse to get Tom Baker in an episode.
Well, he could have played the Curator, which is a future incarnation of the Doctor, and he could be talking to Capaldi and be like, "This is all wrong." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I don't remember any of this. This is not supposed to happen." And then something happens where he disappears, or maybe the future's altered or something, and this is not supposed to be happening for another couple hundred years or something. This is all wrong.
Well, you know what? They could. That's actually a good point, because the Tom Baker character, we'll just leave it at that in quotes, his character, the Curator.
Right.
He's a curator of a museum, right? What pieces do you have in a museum? Ancient Egyptian relics? That could have kicked off this whole story arc of the season, is having the Curator showing. You know, they could introduce Bill, then they could have at the end of like the first episode of this story arc of this season, in this hypothetical idea that we have, you could have the Curator approaching the Doctor at the university. In the last scene, you could have Capaldi maybe sitting with his feet kicked up on the desk, his back to the door, and you hear him talking to Nardole or something, and then you hear Tom Baker's voice off camera, and you see Capaldi swivel around in the chair, and it's the Curator standing there saying, "We need to talk. There's something."
Right. And what would it would even be better is because Osgood said that the Doctor gave her the scarf, right? That she's his companion, and that he takes her away. Oh, don't worry about it. And then a Zygon takes her place that Missy kills, because he knows that Missy's going to kill her. So he makes sure that a Zygon takes her place, because Osgood's secretly the futuristic Doctor that takes the face of Tom Baker, like the fourth Doctor companion.
Forget Nardole's character in this series. They could have gotten rid of him and had the Curator be there and just stay at the university.
Be like a companion to the Doctor in a way, like playing it off.
Because that would make sense. The Curator of a museum would be doing some tenure at a university, and you could have him being there watching the vault, because the Doctor would trust him, knowing that he's somehow fixed in his timeline, if not himself. Yeah. And you could have Tom Baker there, through some of the series, and have him be a part of it. And he would probably have loved to have shown up and done that. I
would have loved to see him again.
Think of the great lines that he could have, and you would have had Tom Baker in the TARDIS, just like Nardole. You would have had Tom Baker, the Doctor, in the TARDIS as the Curator.
And you know what? Capaldi could be like knocked over the head or something, and somebody could be in there like, "What do we do?" And he's just controlling the controls. Oh, I don't know. Maybe this does it. That's just luck, I guess.
Well,
stuff like that would be great.
The Doctor walks in, and there's the Curator just going, "Oh, I'm just seeing how things have things."
Like, how River had the thing with the alcohol in that exact one, right? Like Tom Baker could like pull off one of the things and have a spare sonic screwdriver like right there, like just that That would have been great.
But you could have had some great lines in the TARDIS too, because he could have been in there with Bill.
Where's my coat rack?
He could have been in there with Bill, like helping Bill out, and not beating you over the head with the fact that the curator's the doctor, or whatever, but kind of with a wink to the audience, where like remember his line in Legopolis where he fixed something and they were talking about something and he looked at Adric. He goes, Adric, wouldn't it be nice to know everything? You know, and kind of remember that line. It was one of those lines that you remember Tom Baker saying. And he could they could be freaking out, and like you said,
we can repeat. It's the end, but the moment has been prepared for.
No, yeah.
And that's like my favorite line since I was a kid that I always say. Like I love that line from him. And you know, and then Capaldi would be like, "You are me," or something like, you know, it's like he'll know. You know, it's or Sutek could be Capaldi could be on the ground like this, and Sutek could be standing over him, and you know, he's like, "I conquered the Doctor," and like he's just right there, and he just does something to just like save the day.
Well, and actually, it kind of, in a roundabout way, they could kind of tie it back around even with that, because you had the Watcher in Tom Baker's last episode, the Regeneration episode, where Baker regenerated due to the Watcher. So you could have Capaldi, they could tie it in with somehow the Curator there being kind of like, you know, fulfilling the Watcher role in Capaldi's regeneration. I mean, all of the signposts point to what could have been a fucking alternate reality, fucking true 10 out of 10 fucking episode if there ever was one, or a whole season. Think of how epic that season would have been. And we've been talking about this specifically for about 20 or 30 minutes, just with brainstorming ideas that they could have incorporated with Sutek and the Curator.
Oh, yeah.
And it would have made complete sense. There wouldn't be...
Amazing how long it took us to come up with something like this. And look how long it takes them to come up with one episode.
And then
for the life of me, I don't know how they would have... Because I would envision, even though they don't have a writer's room or whatever, they would have a get-together with everybody, right? And like, I present to you the BBC Series 10, first villain, the Puddle Monster. It's like, what the hell? Like, seriously.
What have you been drinking?
Like when they presented this to the BBC, did the BBC go like this? You know, like, seriously.
They probably said, okay, how much money will we have to make? Spend to have this Puddle Monster.
I mean, is there anybody in the BBC now that are Doctor Who fans? Is anybody in the BBC Doctor Who fans right now? Anyone?
Instead of spending money on the wood lice and the Puddle Monster, couldn't they use that money to pay Tom Baker to come back as the Curator for, like, you know, some cameos and some?
Could they have the guy put the mask on, be the Jackaroff?
And they wouldn't be paying Matt Lucas also, because you would have no need for his character. The Curator could fulfill what he's doing in this.
Somebody who people care about.
You know how powerful that dialogue would have been?
And they
Tom Baker talking.
Think about the ratings too. Having
ridiculous. You would have the highest ratings. Nobody would watch Americans Got Talent.
And what they could do,
whatever talent thing.
Okay, let's say they didn't have the Curator on in every episode, but just random episodes. They could do the Tom Baker, which they did with Anthony Ainley. They could scramble his name, so that way it's like, okay, who's this person? And then until he's revealed, it's like, oh, cool.
So many missed opportunities.
Yeah, and they could just say as the Curator, like in quotes.
They could listen to me. The Doctor sent away the High Council of Gallifrey, right? So where are they going to go? They're in TARDISes, right? So let's screw with the Doctor now. So why couldn't they have like Timothy Dalton show up for 5 seconds and be behind the Truth Monks as Rassilon? It's out of order anyway. So if they could revisit Faces, right? He could take the form again of Timothy Dalton and be Rassilon. And he'd just be like, you know, talking. Just by him talking, people went crazy. When he was
the Curator even told Matt Smith, you're going to be revisited by some familiar faces.
Can you imagine having Timothy Dalton as Rassilon and Tom Baker as the Curator in the same freaking room?
Yes.
I would lose it. Literally.
And talk about ratings.
Oh, through the damn roof. What is it going to cost you to have him in there for like a few minutes or whatever? Come on. Really?
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
I don't know about you, but my life can go on without having ever watched the Puddle Monster or the Wood Lice episode.
Sorry. I'll take a pass on that compared to Classic Doctor.
And the fact that they did that would get people encouraged to go watch the next episode. thinking, okay, is he going to be in it again? Is he going to be in it again? And that's just it. They don't put him in every episode. They just put him in a random, like.
They had such a limited budget in the past. And they had the coolest effing villains back then. Even the way that the Cybermen sounded and they looked was chilling. You know, like, give me a break. They could have even had the classic Cybermen, not even the Mandala, the ones in the 80s. They could have brought them back, and you know, something could have happened. I mean,
you mean to tell me that they wouldn't think of the money that they would have had for casting budget if they would have done away with the pilot, the Woodlice episode, and Smile, and fuck it, Oxygen too. You know, all those effects, all of that, make this whole story arc. You know, put Sutek in there, bring back the Curator for a little while. You know, maybe have, like you said, Rassilon in there or whatever. Even if Dalton's budget would be too much, whatever. I mean, just having Tom Baker and Sutek.
Because, I mean, if Dalton was given a chance to appear on Doctor Who again, he'd probably say, okay, I'll take a smidgen of what I'd to.
He wouldn't be the type of actor that wanted tons of money. He loved doing that.
No.
He was doing Penny Dreadful, doing everything.
Tom Baker, if he'd gotten a chance to come on again.
Come on. Patrick Stewart would love to do Doctor Who.
Because you could have had the Curator. You could have a scene with the Curator sees Capaldi for the first time and walks in and says, like, you know, kind of like the Brigadier used to do, like, oh, well, you know, you've changed again. Because last time the Curator saw the Doctor, he was Matt Smith, you know?
Yeah.
And he could have had a throwaway line like, oh, always thought you were too young anyway. You know, like it's Matt Smith since Capaldi's older. You know
what I would like to be revealed? He thinks he chose that face, right? But he still doesn't know. I would like it to reveal that maybe the Curator chose the face, or somebody with high-ranking Time Lord chose that face for him, or something. Because you know what it is? Maybe they chose the face because they seen him in the end, the Time War, and they said that's the incarnation it has to be. I don't think the Doctor chose that face. I think somebody else chose it for him, and he thinks he chose it because he encountered that face before. I don't think he chose that face. That was a stupid explanation.
What was the explanation? That he wanted to try and remind himself that he's a good man or something?
No. He wanted to remind him that he saved people.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm the Doctor, and I save people. Well, of course you do. Genius, you save people every episode. Like, how could you forget that? That's like, oh, I forgot to pee for 5 days. No, you would pee every day. Like, come on. That's like the dumbest Moffat thing ever.
Well, because wasn't the whole thing about Matt Smith was he knew what the Doctor's name meant? That was what his whole thing was? So why would the Doctor not know what he does?
I don't know. It's called, I got to do Sherlock. You know, like, people may say, oh, it was only 3 episodes of Sherlock, right? Technically, it's like, if you think about how long Sherlock is, it's like doing 6 episodes of Doctor Who, 3 Sherlock ones. Because it's an hour and a half. So he's doing that while he's doing Who. You know, like, his attention is somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said he should have
Nobody understands that. They think, oh, like, 10 out of 10 season. No. I bet you if he wasn't doing Sherlock and he was doing this would be a completely different season.
Like I've said a dozen times, what he should have been doing was, when he was getting close to the mid-season, break away, take care of the other show. Once he gets close to, and of course, hand it off to somebody. Then same thing happens with the other show. When it gets close to the mid-season, hand it off, come to the other show, and that way his attention is fully.
I mean, guys, in Pandora, he had every freaking just about how many races were in that episode.
Yeah.
Why? So if that wasn't expensive, what would it be to have them spread out throughout the season? Like, different. I don't care. Like, whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's a mistake.
Moffat missed a chance of making his final season a good one yet again.
So good. They could have did the storyline from when Matt Smith erased everybody in all the data banks of all the computers in the whole universe, that everybody got pissed that he did that. Even the good guys got pissed that he screwed with the computer, like I said, and they would hire bounty hunters after him, where even the Daleks, the Cybermen, everybody would get on that. Like, you know, like it'd just be like a game. It would be like the universal game. Who's going to kill the Doctor first? How great would that be? He's always on the run. He's always running.
And there's your good.
That would have been a great season or two where he escapes the East space.
That could have been.
He escapes the East space because there's too many people going for him at the same time, and that's a whole other thing in there.
And that could have been their best way of returning back to the. I shouldn't say returning, but bringing back the whole notion of part one, part yada yada, because they could say they could have used that as the main title, and then boom, boom, boom.
They could have even did something went wrong and he went sideways in time, like Sylvester McCoy said, where it was another dimension where Earth technology, they had swords and sorcery and laser beams, right? With Battlefield, he has to be Merlin in the future. He has to defeat her and bury her in the ice caves, and it was his future incarnation is supposed to be Merlin.
This could have been that dimension, or
this could have been that thing. He has to be Merlin in the future. For I don't know, a whole season or whatever, maybe. And that he even said it himself.
Moffat, look what we've just created for you.
He even said it himself. They knew what the TARDIS was. You know, they knew the TARDIS.
We just handed like Moffat what would be like his big going out season on top. Ratings, big ratings buster, having the curator in there, having a epic whole series story arc going on with high stakes. Not rushing everything into 2 or 3 episodes, and then having other episodes that you're like, why the fuck am I watching this? Just to like get through to like the next 2 episodes that I think will be good. Not like the fucking wood lice and shit.
They could have even continued stuff outside the universe where House was, right? Where you have Daleks there. Like everybody, maybe Daleks took over like a whole planet. One Dalek took over the whole planet, or like Cybermen working with the Dalek, like the Alliance. Remember?
And then they could have
somebody formed the Alliance, right?
They could have had Absalom Dak, Dalek killer, and like one of those.
Yes, thank you.
But somebody had gotten all these bad guys together. Remember? There was one person got them all together, the Alliance, with everybody's working together perfectly to take out the Doctor. So why couldn't they continue that storyline? Like, who did that?
When you were talking about the Dalek thing, it reminded me of Absalom Dak. I
had the comic book. There was the comic book. I remember that.
Imagine Absalom Dak. Imagine his character like playing off Capaldi's Doctor, and Capaldi's having to look, dude, calm down. You know, we're gonna kill Daleks.
Wasn't Death's Head part of that too? There was a character called Death's Head that was that connected with the Daleks too, or just was a UK thing maybe?
I'm familiar with the character. I've read like some of the stories, but not like all of them. But I'm familiar with what his purpose is, his origin, what he does, and all that. And he's like a bounty hunter that they were going to kill, and they gave him an option to basically die or go on a suicide mission, which is basically just to be a Dalek killer. And he's like, well, fuck it, I'm going to be a Dalek killer.
He fell in love with a princess.
Yeah. So they could have had...
That could have been the next Star Wars movie. That could have been like its own thing if they did them movies of that, probably. That probably would have been great. But I don't even know if they have the rights to that either.
Because he would be kind of like... He's almost like a Conan sort of character, like Conan the Barbarian. They could have had him like almost like a savage, like Leela was with Tom Baker's Doctor.
They could have had the Truth Monks with the Mara. That the Mara is like ruling the Truth Monks. They bring Japanka back in there, Janet Fielding. That would have been perfect.
Yep. Yeah, the Mara could be trying to manipulate things, but utilizing the Truth Monks, and then when you least expect it,
the Truth Monks worship the snake creature, the Mara. You know.
Yeah, and then at the last moment, you see this head rise up, and it's a snake
out of the pyramid.
Yeah.
See, there's too many stuff, man.
Moffat, BBC, look, you need to come to us, all right? Come on.
Jesus. So many missed opportunities. Makes me sick.
The season that could have been.
Makes me sick to my stomach. God. If we would have watched this shit when we were younger, this would have sucked. Puddle Monster and shit like that.
No. They would have... It would have
made that Colin Baker episode.
They would have written it in an intelligent manner.
Puddle Monster and shit.
They would have
been another season of
the Puddle Monster was actually linked to something else.
No, they would have made a Colin Baker episodes. Puddle Monster, whatever. Please.
Well, it would have been like the Candyman, where it was like a minor part of a.
Regardless of what anybody says, Candyman was the freaking coolest thing. I'm sorry. That was the coolest shit I've ever seen.
Well,
I loved it. Even though it was corny as F, I thought it was great.
I'm wondering what people are going to say, like, for real, like, when this season is done, if they're going to go back and, I mean, truthfully, look back and go, okay, now that all of the episodes are done, is it really that great? Like, especially the first half.
Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. God forbid they can say I'm right.
On the episodes that we've touted as being the best and go, yeah, those were good. And
you know what they'll do? They'll wait a couple of years and then they'll say it.
Yeah.
When they're reviewing like Series 13 or 12, yeah, that season sucked. Series 10. That's what they'll say.
Because they want to be so much part of the Manning crowd.
They figure people forget about
it. Alienate themselves. They got to be part of a group nowadays.
This will get the reputation of Sylvester McCoy's first season.
Oh, God. Paradise Towers, Delta the Bannerman, freaking whatever the hell that thing was when Ace was on that planet there. Dragonfire, whatever the shit was.
Yeah, Dragonfire.
God. That stuff was rough, man.
And you notice at the end, when they defeated that.
But then when you saw Remembrance of the Daleks,
same way
how great was that shit, right?
The Nazis from.
Did you like that, Mike D?
Hold on, I was listening to what Scott was saying. Hold on.
I'm sorry, Scott.
I said how they defeated the guy from Dragonfire reminded me so much of how they defeated the Nazi dude from the Nazis from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah.
There's that whole melting of the face and.
Oh yeah.
I like that movie. Yeah.
What were you saying, Will? About?
Oh, Remembrance of the Daleks. How great was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, they come back with that.
I got chills when I think of that. Like,
well, yeah, they got like like Ben Arovich or whatever his name is to come on and create this thing where they were making like Sylvester McCoy's Doctor a little bit less clownish and more like he's got Machiavellian motivations.
Curse of Fenric was incredible.
The whole.
Well, if you notice, Curse of Fenric, I did a cast on that. Curse of Fenric, I did a cast on that because there was a thing about the daughters, whatever, and they said like companions' names, and they said Clara, they said Donna. There was like different things in there, and even the coats looked like what they would become for like Tennant's coat and Matt Smith's thing.
Yeah.
Curse of Fenric. Well, we should review that again.
I just haven't seen it in a number of years.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it.
I remember the one blooper scene where like Ace is fighting off the Hemivores or whatever, and the one piece of the mask that covers the neck comes up, and you can see the flap hanging out over the top of the collar.
I love that. I think that was Brigadier's best scene when he's fighting that in Battlefield. Oh God, I love that so much. And Sylvester McCoy's doctor saw him die in bed when he was old. He visited
him. You were supposed to die in bed.
In bed. He's like, this is not supposed to happen. You're supposed to live on and die in bed, like at old age.
And then, of course, several years later, what do we see?
Matt Smith goes to visit him. But then he would have bumped into himself probably anyway. So.
And then we have him become a Cyberman and rescue everyone.
How great would it have been if Mr. Clever battled Capaldi? Like Matt Smith comes back to Mr. Clever and just starts fighting with Capaldi. That would have been great. Well, Matt Smith's got another season. I think he got greenlit for another season, or he's filming another season. So, of that.
Did we ever get an explanation for what was it? The voice in the TARDIS in that Matt Smith episode?
No, we never got an explanation where he got the regeneration energy from. If he didn't have any regeneration energy for River's hands. Which he did because, according to Nightmare and Silver, he had another regeneration left, that he told the truth, and they looked to see if he was lying or not, and he wasn't lying. So, explain that one.
Give him more regenerations, you have to. It's because they had to wait for Clara to come along and save everybody.
I liked Clara, man, a lot. I mean, I don't like what he did with her later on, but I really liked her as a character.
I always thought it would be kind of smooth to have it turned out to where she was actually one of the cloister wraiths. Somehow she got switched, and
I was expecting to see other incarnations of Clara. that he would bump into. You know, maybe different types.
That or she would have ended up becoming that Dalek, which we saw in the.
They could have had her encounter Capaldi and him not call himself the Doctor. Just she didn't know. You know,
Silent of the Daleks.
I like the sound of the Daleks. A lot of people don't like it, but I liked it. I like Snowman.
No, they could have easily figured out some way of having her become that Dalek, and because it happened in the future, that's why, or somehow.
They could have, besides bringing back John Sim this year, they could have brought David Tennant back as a meta-crisis Doctor, because they can't bring back the original Doctor because they didn't face him again. And they could have had them face off. And that would have been, with Billy Piper, again, that would have been amazing.
Well, what if
Billy Piper never encountered the Master? So, Rose Tyler.
What if besides Sutek, or in lieu of Sutek, if you found out that the Valiard was behind?
Yeah, they could have done the Valiard, because I thought a great way they could have done this to reveal it is you see the Doctor and brain fart, but nonetheless the Doctor's chatting with whichever companion he's got. They leave. And nobody notices that the reflection on the TARDIS console didn't dissipate. That's when the head turns and it's revealed that's the Valiard.
Shit.
They could have had Missy with the Valiard, right? Then they could have did something with CGI, and they filmed it that Missy travels to the trial of the Time Lord, and you see like a little thing where they do it like they did with William Hartnell and Clara, and she's like whispering in Anthony Ainley's ear about the Valiard. You know, and just like, oh, he's,
Missy, supposedly the Doctor was the one that was keeping the promise for Missy. Man, they could have done something where, like the Valiard, like she's doing this because the Valiard promised her more regenerations or something in exchange for her help with defeating basically himself, the Doctor, but as the Valiard. And that's why that's why these monks are on Earth. Because the Doctor, Earth is his pet planet that he's always protecting.
Right.
And that they could have introduced, because weren't we expecting the Valiard between, what was it, the
regeneration?
Oh, we got silent for a second. What happened?
Yeah. Well, no, I was just thinking, because, I mean, the Truth monks, like the Truth could have been, the Doctor's always kind of wanting to not acknowledge that the Valiard is part of who he is. And
exactly.
That could be kind of a hint that the Truth, what's the truth, Doctor? What are you afraid of the truth? You're afraid.
They could have even used the Valiard as actually the War Doctor. And that would have been good, because he was ruthless enough. So, and then we wouldn't have had to go on this whole John Hurt, yes, he's a great actor, tangent.
Yeah, well,
what could have been?
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. This has been a great cast. This is the way it's supposed to be, without nonsense going on in the background of children. And anyway,
all joking aside, for some of the people that are complaining about, like, all it is talking about hating Doctor Who and stuff, we actually discussed really deep and far-reaching specific things that they could have done with this show, not just shit on it.
Right.
So that should demonstrate the fact that we care about the show, and we care enough to posit ideas that we think would have been great for what they've done, not just going, oh, well, that's shit. We gave ideas of how they could have done things.
They should have done this here. That was why did they even go that route this episode?
They're gonna just say you hate Doctor Who, you hate it. Just like the dog keeps going after the tail. That's what they're gonna keep saying, because they can't think of anything else. It's just they're stuck in that stupid game that they're playing. It's sad. I mean, we are passionate. We could go for hours. We could continue another 2 hours in here and nonstop. Just keep going. And
one of us will say something. Oh, yeah, there. Yeah, there. We could just playing off of each other's ideas.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they they may not even be fans of the classic series. They may not know who Sutek is, and they may not understand some of the
I honestly feel half the time they don't believe what they're saying, but it's just be part of be part of a crowd. Like, oh boy, I was one of the many people who denounced the.
I got to go on Matrix show and put down his book and say all these nasty things. Ha ha ha!
Yeah, that's all they could actually say. They're not really adding anything. They're just able to say, "Well, I did this, this, and this." Well, goody for you. I went over and I took a dump today.
I think that's more than what some of the commenters actually accomplish in most of their daily lives.
I tell you the truth, I keep forgetting. I didn't even look at the that stupid chat thing. I don't think I want to look at it because
here, hang on.
It's probably all nonsense. Don't even read anybody's name.
I'll be the brave one to do that.
Now, you know what? I don't want to do that because you know what? We had a great cast. Bringing their nonsense in here brings the show down. So we're going to end it on a high. Thank you, Mike D. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Bye for now.